Lavo. Yeah, okay, it's recording. Okay, hi guys. Welcome to a little recruiting Q&A hosted by some of your leaders. And Sarah and I have come up with some questions that you might come up. Go ahead, Sarah, if you want to talk.
Sure.
Maddox is like background.
Okay. So we wanted this to be an open forum for you, just to ask questions or share scenarios that you're encountering that you just want the advice of Susie and myself. And then we have a couple other leaders on here. So Lauren, you want to say hi? Lauren, just wave.
Am I on mute right now? Can you guys hear me?
No,
I'm struggle bus right now.
Brooke
Okay,
is here.
I'm
Brooke,
here.
you wanna say hi?
Hi.
And then I know also Becky's here. Becky, you want to say hi? Maybe she's muted herself. I'm looking for more on here. But you know, if questions come up and you want to share your experience or expertise, then please feel free to chime in. This is not the Susie and Sarah show. This is like an open forum. So that being said, we do want to open it up. So does anyone have any questions that they have prepared ahead of time?
I have a question.
Bring
I know
it.
I'm supposed to be like helping people, but I need help. So does anyone have any like hot language that they're using right now for initial reach outs? Like I have a lot of really good follow-up stuff and I'm completely cold market too. So a lot of the people that I'm reaching out to are either acquaintances or like just literally getting to know. And I feel really stuck on what to say to them, which sounds crazy, but I do.
So, Lavo, I had this talk with Rose at the pool in Jamaica because I said, I feel stuck. Because at the beginning of your business, I feel like you have an unlimited amount of people you feel, and then all of a sudden you're like, where do I go from here? If you've been doing it for a while, and Rose said some key words. I can't, give her the whole like perfect Rose thing.
Yeah.
But one thing she said was, you know what, I know I've reached out to you before, or hey, this is my first time, whatever. I'm in something that's way bigger than I ever thought it could possibly be. Right.
I like that.
I know. And I was like, yes, it is. And she's like, you have to tell them that. Like, I am in something that is way bigger than I ever thought possible. And I'm coming back to you because I know we've talked about this before, or, maybe I'm coming out to you because this is like something that I want to share with the world, and your name came to mind. And it may or may not work for you, but I'd love to at least share with you why I got started on this journey and see if it could fit you. And that was like, we also got like the Bob Heilig thing. So, his kind of mixes in, and I can read the Bob Heilig thing. Sarah, do you have it in front of your face? I have it right on my Google Drive right here. I can read what it was. So Bob Heilig, basically, his new thing is lead with your why, which makes sense, right? And it kind of goes like this. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. Okay. Hey, lady, I know I touched base with you about Rodan & Fields products, but got me. No, this is a different one. Hold on. Crap. Sorry. Where is it? Heilig. You look for Heilig.
Go ahead. I'll share what I've been doing recently that has gotten at least responses. I've been reaching out to some follow-ups, and then LinkedIn is my new resource. That's like my new cold market, essentially. So the verbiage changes, but the keywords that I've been throwing out are second stream of income. That's gotten a lot of people going, oh, yeah, I do want a second stream of income. And then something I picked up in Jamaica was like these big CEO women are asking people about diversified income. Like, do you have multiple streams of diversified income? Like that to me, I was like, because I'm a teacher. I'm like, I don't know what diversified income is. But when they said it, I was like, oh, that's seems smart. So I've been actually messaging a lot of people on LinkedIn who are in Australia, and I've been using also the words like ground level entry on an opportunity, diversified income, second stream of income, and I've gotten some responses from that. So keywords.
And Sarah has
That's
actually
awesome.
recruited 2 people in the last week, you little snot bag. But I love it. So Bob highlights, it's not right in front of me, but it basically says, it starts with, you know what? I don't know if I've ever shared the reason why I started this business with you. And it's all about them. You know, I would love to talk to you about it because like I kind of wrapped up my last comment. It could be something that is totally for you or totally not. Either way, it's great. And then they're kind of maybe cued to, you know, pique their interest. Like, well, why did you? Like, is this going to be some dramatic story? Because I'd love to hear it. And if it's not, I'd still probably love to hear it. And then at least you get them on the phone.
Okay.
So I actually used that language with one of my girlfriends who's been on my chicken list. She's like one of my best girlfriends from high school, Beth Truffle, Sarah. You know, it's one of those people that I didn't want to bother. And I finally just reached out to her today and I said, hey girl, I have not talked to you forever. I would just love to catch up. I don't know if you've like heard this whole RNF thing is going well for me, and I'd love to share why I even got started with it. And she's like, yes, let's talk tomorrow at 2:30. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, we're talking.
That's awesome.
And the other
This is
thing
all really
with that,
helpful.
like, what, you know, just, do you even know why I do this? I mean, first of all, it's authentic, but you can do that with PCs. You can do that with, you know, anybody. It doesn't have to be people. It doesn't have to be people you know. It doesn't have to be people you don't know. It doesn't have to be people that you've reached out to 20 times. It doesn't have to be new reach outs. It can be literally anyone. Because like, and your why's always changing too. So like, even if you have told somebody why you started, why am I still doing this?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry, I'm just quiet because I'm writing. This is really good. Thank you,
I
guys.
love it. Telling you, some cocktails at a pool really does a good girl good.
I have one note. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Beck.
Yeah.
You're quiet, but
I have one note about LinkedIn, and I'm with Sarah on LinkedIn. Like, I do love it for sure, but I'll be totally honest. I 100% got put in LinkedIn jail because
Oh, yeah, you did.
I must have messaged a bunch of people like to connect, because what I typically do is I will message them and write them a note requesting a connection, because it's a little different than Facebook. It's not like a friend request. It's like, I mean, I guess it's sort of similar, but so you're asking them to connect, but I write a message with it. And I just say something like, you know what I mean? So I'm not just like randomly sending those, because, you know, and what happens is too, is people know when you click on their profile, they get a notification. So every time you open somebody's profile or somebody opens yours, you're going to get a note that says so-and-so looked at your profile. So, I mean, and with the Australia stuff too, like I've looked at some people, and you can also see when you like and comment on other people's posts, it gets kind of put on your own personal little news feed on your profile. So
Yeah,
I had seen some Australian people, because Sarah, I'm kind of doing the same thing you are, as I'm going to Australia with that. And I had seen somebody who was like sort of in the beauty industry who had liked a post where somebody complained about all the Rodan & Fields people reaching out to them. And I was like, oh, hot damn. Well, we better be careful.
So be very like, you know, concise and
Yes, just sort of pay attention is my advice on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, because
So,
I
Becky,
I legit had to send my driver's license picture to LinkedIn corporate because they wanted to make sure I was like a person.
Becky, what got you in jail?
I think it was because I sent probably what happened is I was sending messages and somebody probably declined me and said, this is spam.
Oh.
or more than one person did.
Well, that's good to know because I still haven't touched LinkedIn. I really need to get on it.
So that's just my little like forewarning red flag thing. That's like, P.S. if you're gonna do this, like make sure you're
Making good choices.
sort of tiptoe a little bit, because it's a little more formal.
Okay, so do you guys have, like I said, we have questions that we kind of went through when we were going, me and Sarah and Brooke, we were in Jamaica in our room and we were brainstorming questions that people might have that we had when we were starting recruiting. But I want, that was 2 years ago. Everything changes, so anybody have anything else?
I have one.
Yes.
So I'm at a point where I've had like several people tell me that they're interested in the business. And then so I'm like, great, let's set up a time to chat. And then it's completely ghost. And so my question is like, from that point, like, how often do you like circle back with them? Because I don't want to be like so annoying that like I don't leave them alone. But at the same time, I know I've read you have to have like anywhere from like 5 to 9 touches before they're willing to consider it. So like, how much time do you guys space in between like following up, and like how persistent are you with like trying to actually get them on the phone?
Who wants to take
So
that one?
I'll jump in on this one because Megan, I know you talk to Lindsay a lot. Okay, so Lindsay will tell you, if she hasn't already, that I reached out to her 11 times before she ever responded to me. And so I think that it sort of depends on who you really want on your team, who you really want to work with. And there's got to be something about that person that you're just like, we're going to do this together. And so I'm going to make sure that I am always talking to you and I am always keeping you in the loop on whether it's the InStyle magazine thing that just came out the other day or new products or whatever. And I probably would message her, and this was over like 2 years time that I messaged her all that time. So it was every couple of months I was dropping her a note. She never responded to me. And then one day I said, oh, it's your birthday. I'd love to send you a little something. And she was like, here's the address. And I sent it. She loved it. She was a PC, ran out of her products. I said, you're joining. And she did. So here we are.
I think those times, what you just said, Becky, is crucial. Like, there really isn't like a specific time limit. Like, I do try to wait like a month and a half to 2 months. But like, if there's a product launch or anything really, a gift set bundle, or the year is ending and people should sign up because they can get a tax break, right? I always go to them. I say, girl, I know you have not chatted back to me at all, and that's cool, but I need to tell you why I'm coming back to you, because it is December. This brand is not going anywhere, and you can write this off. And Lavo, can you chime in? Because we had some questions. We were like, well, what if someone signs up in December and then they don't hit that mark where you actually can write off? Can you do the quick numbers, Jam?
Yeah. Megan's smiling because we had like a
you two
legit
both
nerd
did.
out conversation about this. You can write it off in the year, even if there's not income. You just can't carry that loss. In most cases, you can't carry the loss forward. So you have to take it in the year when you buy the kit. So if they bought the kit this December, but they don't make any income, they can still write it off. There's like a time frame in how long you claim losses. Like, you can't claim losses forever. You eventually have to turn a profit, but in the first year, they don't have to worry about it.
So like, that's like, go ahead, Brooke.
The other thing just about like the follow-up piece, I think it is a good point that it depends on who the person is. And so if you really know them, like, are you talking to them about other things than just Rodan and Fields? Like, are you building a relationship besides just, once they said that they're interested in Rodan and Fields, is that all you talk to them about? And then are you interacting on their Facebook page so that they are seeing the information that you're putting on Facebook? Another one of our like main trainings that we did was a social media training
Crazy
about
good.
algorithms of how Facebook is working right now. And basically, Facebook tracks your relationships. So if you are messaging somebody and they are messaging you back, then they will be more likely to see your stuff. Also, if you are having real conversations with people in the comments, they will also be more likely to see your stuff. So if you are prospecting somebody who you really want on your team, you should be active on their page, and you should really try to get them active on your page. So if they comment on something, respond to their comment with a question and start a whole conversation in your comments, and then they'll see all of your stuff. So there are a lot of different ways to keep them in the loop without necessarily messaging them every week.
And I want to say, while there is value in all of us commenting on each other's posts, we are only seeing each other's posts, right? Because that's what the algorithm has done. It has said, wow, these 20 people, she's hanging out with these people, so we're going to keep those people in our top feed. And that's what we've been trained to do, is like comment on everybody's stuff. And I don't want to say don't do that, but I want to say don't spend all your time doing that. Spend more time making those relationships. Like, I literally went through, and I'm sorry, you guys, I bypassed a bunch of your stuff tonight, and I touched people that I want on my team, and I just made a comment and I asked a question. And that was kind of a big aha too. I was just like, oh, I've been telling everyone to comment on everyone's stuff, which is good. We have to do that. But don't spend all your time doing that.
I have one more thing to add to Megan's question. There's a daily experience training that was really helpful to me about your situation, and most others too. Her name is Heather Nyanuris. She's been on there a couple of times. She's adorable. But, actually, Jen Marie, you said I look like her.
Yeah.
So she's super adorable.
Adorable. But she gives some helpful steps to follow when you encounter multiple situations. So in something like this, she says you have to state the situation. So when I'm talking about, Megan. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat it.
Yeah, and then you provide an assumption.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ask for confirmation. Actually, it's not funny that you say that, because I shared that with Susie. So share it, because it's really helpful.
Yes. So in Megan's case, she would state the situation like, hey, Susie, I reached out to you months ago about the business, and you said that you were interested. And then you give an assumption. Since I haven't heard from you, I'm assuming you're not interested anymore. Can you confirm that this is the case? Because I really do think that you would be amazing at this, and I'd love to share more with you. Something along those lines. It can be a PC, a potential PC, like, hey, Megan, a couple months ago, you told me that you were interested in Lash Boost, and when I sent the pricing information, I didn't hear back from you. I'm assuming that you think that this might be too expensive. Could you let me know if this is the case? I'm just giving you examples here, like off the top of my head.
I'm blown away by this.
And so the acronym is SAC. It's SAC. So situation, assumption, confirmation.
You're asking them to confirm.
And then what she said in the training is usually people will respond, or she gets like a really good response rate, because you're like making an assumption about them. And so if it's the wrong assumption, they want to clarify. And so they'll respond back, and then you at least can like get on the same page or like open a new conversation. So yeah, that was a good one.
And make it your own. Like, if I talked like that to someone, they would be like, that's not Susie. That's not Susie. You know what I mean? And, Meg, we
F-bombs in there.
Right, exactly. So, Megan, we talked about this. Like, make it you, and it's going to be super authentic. And you're right. It's going to make someone jump right back into that conversation. So,
any other questions?
So I have a question. I'll be honest, I just recently started kind of reaching out about the business. And then in the beginning, I was definitely reaching out more about the products. So now that I'm a bit more comfortable, I'm reaching out more about the business. And I've had a few three-way calls. And one of our last three-way calls sounded super interested. I think Tiff's on here. And then when she followed back up, like the next day, she said, something to the effect of, I'm really working on my work-life balance and I don't think I have time, when that really wasn't a concern that she mentioned at all on the phone. So I'm just wondering, I know this kind of goes along with what Megan said, but when someone says no and it sounds kind of final for now, when would you follow up again about the business with that person?
I think it goes back to, again, that relationship that you have. Like in that situation, any situation, I really like to share stories. Be like, you know what, girl, I feel you. My girlfriend, Chantel, she has 4 children, and she's getting her real estate license, and she's doing okay. You share a story, and if they still don't bite, it's not their time. Let's give them their time. It's our time. It's always our time for them to join us, but it's not their time. So I would follow back again, like Megan was saying, or, Megan asked, like, when there's a reason, hey, it's end of year, or hey, it's January 1st. What a great time to start a new year. Or hey, it's March 1st. You could get lucky this month. I make up stuff.
Right. So I also still feel like in that situation in particular, like she's still giving you objections.
Agreed.
That doesn't feel like the conversation is over to me.
No.
So when you were on the phone, she may have said, no, it's too expensive, but you didn't just say, okay. You probably said, oh, well, let me explain why the kits cost what they cost. And actually, it's a great deal. If you were on the phone and she would have said, oh, well, I don't have time, you would have said, really, I'm sure that you look at this and how much time do you think this takes? Maybe you would ask her a question. And so I think that conversation isn't over yet. When, I don't know, Carrie Heupel did some challenge, and it was like a go for no challenge, and she defined a no. And it made me go a lot further. And very honestly, like, it's easy for people to take a no and then be like, okay, cool, I'll talk to you later. I don't want to bug you. But if you really believe that this is something that can help someone, and like clearly she doesn't understand what this is. If she's working on work-life balance, well, this is a way to actually have more life, So she doesn't have the information yet. That's my response to that.
So keep asking questions too. Keep asking those questions. Let her talk.
I don't have time. Say what kind of time do you need? What do you think kind of time this is going to take?
There's a really good daily experience. Dang it, I gotta know the name. Lori, I don't know. But she basically goes through all the objections and how to feel, felt, found them. And the time one's awesome. She's like, okay, I get it. I felt the same way. What does your day look like? Just tell me what your day looks like. And then she tells you. And then you're like, oh my gosh, that's like my day too. I could show you. What if I could show you a way to work this business with the day you just gave me? So
one more thing too, you mentioned the 3-way call, and this was another daily experience video.
We love it.
I think, who says this to me? Maybe Amanda. But it was ending, the 3-way call ends usually with the upline asking the prospect, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you in signing up today? So 1 is like, you're ready to run away from me. You never want to see my face again. You're going to block me on Facebook. 10 being like, sign me up right now. Like, where are you? And then from there, you can kind of feel out their objections. And this has been like a really solid way I've felt to wrap up the 3-way. Because if they're a 1 to 4, you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to get off the line. You sound like the perfect candidate to become a preferred customer. So I'm going to excuse myself from the conversation. I'm pretending I'm the upline. I'm going to excuse myself from the conversation. I'm going to let Sherry walk you through the enrollment process to become a preferred customer. If they're a 5 to 7, they have more objections. So you have to pull those out. Okay, well, what is it? What is stopping you from being a 10 today? And you can feel those objections out instead of getting them later when you wrap up the conversation and you're like, okay, see ya, when does enrollment happen? If they're an 8 to 10, you say, you know what? I think you're ready to enroll today. I'm going to step off the phone. I'm going to let Sherry walk you through the enrollment process. But usually that 8 might have a few more questions. So why are you an 8? Why aren't you a 9 or a 10? But it's the upline's job to ask that question. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Does that help?
Yeah, no, it does. And honestly, I think like looking back on this particular case, you know, we got off the phone and it was really good. And then she texted me like 2 days later, like the next day, she's like, oh, I just need more time to think. I'll get back to you the next day. And then when she did, she texted me and it was very just like, oh, now I don't have time. And that was never an objection on the phone. So I have a feeling that she spoke with her husband and that was like a big piece. But I think in hindsight, like after like kind of what you said and what Brooke said, I should have asked, like, can I get on the phone with you? Like, can I call you to talk about that? Just to kind of like feel her out a little bit more because she still had objections. I think maybe that would have just helped me understand where she was at least. Thanks.
Anyone else?
Sarah, do you want to pick one from the list? I feel like the most popular is I have somebody that wants to start on the $45 kit and only the $45 kit.
Any questions before we get there? Because this is for you tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. $45 question. You want to start, Suze, or me?
Sure. No, my biggest thing that I've actually learned from Kristen, and I don't know where she learned it, but she learned it and I loved it. I guess I'll just quickly share. I started on the $45 kit. So when I signed up all my people, most of my people were on the $45 kit. And then most of the people that I initially signed up, they were out, they were gone. So one thing I do is I share that statistic, and you can share my story if you want. Say I had a friend who signed up a significant amount of people on the $45 kit, and only 2 or 3 were actually quite successful because there wasn't as much financial and emotional investment in it. So there's one thing, you share a story again. And the second thing is I say, girl, I get it. I was there. But it would not do you justice if I didn't tell you the different kits, because guess what? You're going to sign up a new business partner one day, and I want you to know how to talk to them. So then you start at the $9.95 and you go down and you tell them the benefits of each. And honestly, the purpose of that, of course, it's for them to hear that and know how to train their next person. But really, their mind starts like jogging a little bit, right? Like, well, I guess she's right. Because you turn it as, I'm going to show you what to do when you sign up someone. I get you can't afford it right now, but I'm going to do it for you so you can sign up someone when you're ready. And then they kind of go, oh, okay. So that's the piece.
Susie, let's say somebody wants to sign up on a $45 kit because they say they can't afford the bigger kits. Would you recommend then that they wait until they can afford it, or do you want them to sign up so you go ahead and say fine?
2 scenarios. I say, one, I can tell it's like a total runner, and I'm like, yeah, we're doing this, and I want you to buy some product with it. Lash boost first and foremost, because that's going to be the quickest results, because all your friends need to see it. Or so then I'll encourage those people. The second one would be someone that I think is kind of a lumpy dump. And I'll be like, you know what? I think you should save for this. This business is worth it. And if they don't save for it, then they're not invested, literally. So Lavo, I can see your face. Go.
I was just going to say, I watched Daily Experience. It was Jenna Kravitz, and she was actually talking about the Spark program, but her language for when she signs people up on and talking about the kits was so good. When she's signing up with somebody, she says to them, I want you to pick a kit with the belief that you are going to make your investment back within the first couple of months. I want you to believe that you have that ability. And then she kind of incorporates Spark into that conversation. So when I joined, Spark didn't exist, but now you have the benefit of being able to talk about them earning not only the commissions, but the bonuses over the first couple of months. So I think that will ultimately help you weed out who's really serious about starting and getting started quickly and who maybe isn't. And even if they still can't, get themselves there with the kit at that point, Megan, you would have more information about where they stand if you pose the question to them that way. So
yeah, and don't get caught in
kind of an interesting thing.
Don't get caught in the, I just want to enroll people. Because I did that. And I was enrolling tons of $45 kits, and my ratio was, so we learned you literally 1/3 of who you enroll is going to EC. Okay. So, but I was enrolling all these people on $45 kits. So my ratio was even smaller. It was like 1/5. So like, that's a true story. It's just don't let them do it. Unless you truly think they're a runner. Yes.
Can I jump in too, Sue?
Never.
So I know I do this differently too. I don't talk about 45. If people want to do the business, I want people who are invested in the business. And so the best way to do it, and the most successful people in this business, either start on $9.95 or $6.95. Do you want me to tell you more about what's in those? Like, that is very legitimately how I talk about it. If someone's like, you know what, I 100% cannot do that, I'm like, all right, let's talk about a way to get you enough products that you will be knowledgeable about this now, but you will save more in the long run if you get a kit. So financially, if you're really broke, you should probably really be a person that has a kit, because you're not going to be able to afford to get all this stuff later. Also, if you're really broke, that's why you need the business yesterday. So I don't know if you guys have ever had a conversation with Kristen about, like, on a call like this, but she will ask, can you borrow money from somebody? Is it Lizzie Long? I don't know. Somebody tells a story about
her hairdresser.
Yeah. She was recently divorced, and or she was about to get divorced, and she had been a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, and she was going to have no money. And so she went to her hairdresser because she had found out about this opportunity. And she said the best thing she would, like, her little funny thing that she says, which I love. She's like, the best thing that she had on her resume was that she could make some mean chicken nuggets. So how was she about to get a job? Well, Rodan & Fields shows up. Well, she doesn't have any money. She's literally in the middle of a divorce, so she can't use any money, but she needs money to be able to take care of her kids. So she goes and talks to her hairdresser, and she's like, this woman told me I can make it back in 2 months. I promise. Well, Lizzie has a freaking huge business now, and she started with $0. So even if you have $0, you can find a way to get a kit. Very legitimately, I don't let people start on 45. When I first started, I let people start on 45, and they disappeared, and then they were frustrated with themselves. And then, it was worse for them. I wish that they would have just become a PC and loved the products. So most people who I talk to about the business don't even know that there is a $45 option.
Yep.
Maybe that's harsh, but I don't.
No, it's not. And I will say, with my story, I had to do the 45, but then I did sign up a consultant on the $6.95, and she quit within like a week because she had to move and her boyfriend broke up with her or whatever. And I got payment plans installed so I could buy it back from her. She gave me the kit, and I did payment plans to her.
And just so everyone knows, Susie is an anomaly.
Yes, you're right.
Susie is not. Every single training we've ever been at, everyone's like, don't do 45. Nobody successful is on 45. And Susie's over here like, excuse me, I'm kind of
what?
But
no, but it's true. Like a majority, yeah. I do have very successful people on my team, though, that are in the 45. But I also, again, I saw that in them. I saw what I had in my heart and brain. I'm going to figure this out no matter what. So I would say,
I don't have anything against people who do the 45. I just think if you believe that the most successful people in the business have a $6.95 or a $9.95 kit, why would you start somebody off at a disadvantage?
Right. And it's
Like,
so
that's,
true.
I'm helping you be more successful in your business. This has nothing to do with my PSQV. I mean, seriously, the different, like, you don't even make that much on a kit. Like,
No.
I don't care. You know,
Right.
I want you to be more successful. So,
Well, so something that I've been thinking about too, sorry, I feel like I'm hijacking this, but I know that
question.
Kristen like talks about how she recruits a lot of people because she talks them into like a deeper discount. And Brooke, I think like even that's why you initially like jumped in, is because you wanted all the products and like you weren't necessarily planning on selling. So like, is that something you guys think about? Like, do you think about trying to recruit people through the deeper discount, or are you like truly now just like focused on people who you think are going to like run the business and do a good job?
Sarah,
Lavo?
go. Yeah.
No,
we can
I
hear
mean,
you.
who,
This
me?
is recorded, remember.
No.
Okay. I was just gonna say I've never pushed face washers because if they are not interested in doing the business, then I would just prefer to have them as a preferred customer. So I don't push face washers. I never have. And honestly, those preferred customers, if they want to do the business, they'll ask you about it. I've had a couple of people, make that switch. And in the meantime, they got great customer service and they still got a really good price. So I don't really ever talk about the discount, but that's just me. I don't know if other people feel differently.
No, at the beginning I was like, oh, I just want more people. I want to make Facebook announcements. Totally lost money on that. And a lot, I have several people that actually I said, can you just become a PC again? I will pay you the $20.
So I think the answer is no.
Okay,
I want people,
that helps
I want
because
people on my team who want to work this business.
and
Otherwise,
some
it's a
people
lot
I
more
think
work
like
to be their leader.
I think some people like sign up and then they realize how great it is and then they decide to work. But I think that finding that is probably a lot less likely than like trying to look for people who want to do it from the get-go.
And
But I
you
was wondering
guys,
what your philosophy was.
and you guys have heard this, like I hate to say recruiting is a numbers game, but it really is. Of course, we want to share this with people that want it, and we know that it can help people. But it truly is, like, people have done the statistics. It's a numbers game. Like, 1/3 of the people that you recruit are going to EC. I mean, it's just what it is. So to be a strong level 5, you need to be at 24 directs, right? It's hard. It's not easy. So, and the people that stick. And you can't hang on to the people that don't stick. You just have to keep going and, touch base with them. And if they don't see what you've seen, they're not going to see it. And I'm sad. It makes me sad, but you've given them the tools. Harsh.
Real.
Okay.
What about other like roadblocks that you guys have found? Where you feel like, oh God, what do I do now?
So I don't know. Go ahead.
I have a quick question. So like, I have some people who I've messaged on Facebook who have shown interest, but you know how you can see, and so they're like, yeah, let's get on a call, and then they've gone silent and they haven't even like you can tell if they've looked at it or not. And like, it's been like 3 or 4 months, and like every 2 months, like I'll send something, but they're not even looking at it anymore. But they expressed interest, said, yeah, let's get on this, let's get on a call, or tell me more, but then it's been crickets for like 4 or 5 months.
That's where I start interacting with their page a ton.
Okay.
And
Find another way to connect.
Yeah, there's no other way you can do it unless you have their actual phone number, and then it might look a little weird. So I would just start interacting with them on their page, and if you start to get in a conversation and you start talking, you're like, girl, let me instant message you, or let me message you, and then she'll see all your messages. Don't spend too much time with it, though, in my opinion, personally.
Thanks.
Question down in the bottom. Who is this?
That 312 656 person have a question? I feel like you were talking before.
I don't actually. I was just tucking my kids in.
Can you sing
Sorry.
us a lullaby?
See, this is how we work.
I am
This-
not. I'm not going to kiss. I'm not going to sing to you guys, but I did have to give kisses because they're waiting for me.
I'm so
But,
sad.
No,
Okay.
I'm just loving all of this information. It's so great, especially the roadblocks about reaching out to people and then them just really going radio silent. Those are huge, all these little tips about especially interacting on their page and not just interacting. Sending my biggest issue, I've only been doing this for like 8 months. And I signed on a $45 kit. Sorry, Brooke. But yeah, I really think that no, it makes so much more sense. Just the language and the reasoning and just not taking no and saying okay and not feeling that you are going to be bothering them. Because I've gotten some pretty harsh, absolutely not. I'm not a salesperson. That's really like the main reason that I've gotten from people. And I've said, it's really not about selling. It's about sharing, the information and the products, and it's people that buy the products that are interested in them. So I think just really continuing to build the relationships is the biggest, the best tip I think that has been given here tonight, and just really just investing in, what Brooke was saying too about investing in the, not even mentioning the $45 kit, which I really don't talk about price when I talk about, the products or the kits, because I really haven't even gotten that far yet, to be honest with you. So I'm just loving all the information, kind of absorbing it all.
I know that's you because I know your voice. Two things about that. Like, one thing I remember I was in Kristen's house this summer, and when I got to hear her do a 3-way call and then reflect about that 3-way call, which was like so valuable to me. Like, I've never been on a 3-way call with Kristen Ramirez before, but she's like the queen of it, obviously. And
queen of everything.
The thing that stuck out to me was when she explained the $695 kit. One thing that like I always reiterate is the AmpMD system. Like, that alone is $200. If you say this product alone is $200, and then you get 5 regimens, and then you get lash boost, and you get active hydration serum, and then you get an eye cream, like just like kind of like going through all the things and like pricing them out. People are like, whoa, like they're taken aback by it. And then Jen, I think the other piece for you is explaining your why. And I know that's something that you're still developing and coming to, realize, but that's something that, like, as you, develop that and become more comfortable sharing that's going to be the game changer for you and for everyone.
I agree.
Absolutely. And I think it's just kind of all coming together for me within the last 45 days. So
girl. And you are kicking butt.
I feel like I am, like, some days, and then listening to this call tonight, it's like, oh wow, I should have been selling. I had somebody a brand new client buy AmpMD, actually reached out to me asking about referral for Botox for their mom, because they know that a client of mine, her husband, is a dentist, and he also administers Botox. And so she reached out to me to find out if I knew, if she can get a gift certificate from him. And I was so proud of myself for turning that around and selling her the AmpMD system and Bright Eye and eye cream. But now I'm sitting here thinking her daughter went in on this kit with her sister and their dad, and she is she's in a hair salon. So I'm just like, it's like one minute you feel like you're doing so well, and the next minute you're kicking yourself for not selling them a kit.
It's
not over.
No,
it's not over.
Yeah,
it's not.
You did an amazing job getting her in the door. Now she's going to love that stuff, and in a couple months she probably will need the $9.95 kit.
Right.
For sure.
It's not
But
over.
yeah, I definitely feel like it's one step forward, and then you're like, oh wow, I could have done this. So now I feel like the next time I have that opportunity, I know how much further I could go with it.
But
And
that's
so
what,
every single day you're just all of it.
don't kick yourself.
Yeah,
It's
every
like
single
having
day
a
you're
new
just
job.
learning and learning. For sure. For
You
sure.
have a new job.
Jen, do you know how many PCs of mine have become consultants? 6.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I think that just every single day I'm learning all day long. Like the last 30 to 45 days, I don't know what kind of struck me, but it's just been such a great eye opener. And I mean, every single call, every Zoom, every IPA, everything that I learn every day is just becoming, it's just pushing me further and further. I love hearing from all, like every walk, you know, from the daily experience to the Rock and Robin stars. I've like listened to all that.
And
you
that's
just get
where
something out of all of it.
turns around, sister. I'm telling you, that's where it all
It's
happens.
like everything clicks.
Yep.
For sure.
So, okay, I'm going to kind of piggyback off that. So if you guys get interest, do you feel like you're comfortable knowing the process afterwards?
So that was going to be my question. I was going to share what I'm doing now, and I don't know, like after listening to kind of like what Brooke was sharing, I'm like, ooh, my process might be sketch.
All right, speak
So,
woman.
okay, so if someone is interested to me and they're like, hey, I'd like to learn more, I'm like, awesome, I'd love to send you the kits, and then let's get on the phone and talk about it. So that's what I was doing, and then I'm like listening to what Brooke says, and I'm like, ooh, that's the opposite of what I should be doing. So I was sending them, I'll tell you what I was doing, and then you can tell me what I should be doing. I was sending them the kits, scheduling the 3-way call, and then calling them with, you know, Tiff to go over what kind of questions they had about the business and about the kits.
I think that's good. So do you have an intro call with them, just yourself?
Yeah, I'll either do the intro call myself, or a couple of people who have expressed interest have been preferred customers, so they're already like pretty familiar with the business and the products.
Yeah.
I thought you said you were doing the kits before the intro.
Oh, no, sorry. Thank you.
So yeah, no, it's typically intro call, kits, 3-way, done. So we're not going to get into huge detail about this tonight, but Carrie Heupel has kind of rolled out like a jam, and it sounds amazing. And I think any leader on here is going to talk to their downlines about it. It's nothing very different than what we're doing. We're basically just speaking our reach out language, and our reach out language leads with your why, like I was kind of saying earlier today, and it's Bob Heilig's language. And then you get on the phone with them, tell them your why. Then me and Sarah were talking, Brooke, we were kind of talking about like, at what point do you do the kits? And we were like, well, it's probably during, so then you get on the phone, you do your why with them, then you send them third-party validation. And there's like going to be 2 options. It's going to be like the doctor's call and like Stacey Roney's call, both of which we can make very available. And then you start a Facebook Messenger with you, your upline, and the prospect. And it's not going to last like a week. It's like a 2-day, maybe 1-day thing.
Wait, Suze, let me interrupt.
Yeah, please.
No, I'm sorry. You create a group on Facebook Messenger. So let's say I wanted to get on a 3-way with Susie and Sherry. I create a group on Facebook Messenger and we video chat. So it's a video 3-way
Brooke,
call.
did I miss that part? No?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, I did it with you guys in the room.
No, people were saying they were trying that way. Carrie was just saying, do it this way. And other people were like, well, I do video chat. And people were like, oh, let me try. And we went off on like 19 tangents.
We're not clear on what we're teaching right now. I feel like we're confusing people.
Yeah, don't worry. Either way, stick with.
The process that has always worked is exactly what you said, Emily. It is, if somebody says, yes, they're interested, intro call, unless they're a PC, right? Because they already know, that's great. After the intro call, you send them the kits and they learn about the kits, and then you get on a 3-way call. The only difference of the thing with Susie is you ask somebody if they're interested in hearing your why. You tell them your why. That's basically your intro call. The next option, if somebody's scared of getting on a 3-way call, is to start a chat group, which it will be a Messenger Facebook chat group with you and your upline and this person. So you've introduced your person to your upline in the messenger. So now they already know the person. So it's not like a surprise that you're getting on the phone with them. And then your upline actually says, you know what, we should all get on the phone. That's just the little extra piece to transition to a three-way. The rest of the whole process is the same. So that's Carrie's new idea, because so many people have a hard time with people just ghosting on that three-way call and with saying like, I don't have time for that, or just not giving a time at all. When a lot of times the way that a three-way is valuable is because your upline can ask questions that you can't. And in the same way, on a three-way chat, on Facebook chat, your upline can ask a question that maybe they wouldn't usually respond to you because you're their friend, but hopefully they respond to this person who they don't know so that they're not rude.
And also it's like, teacher style. It's like on-site coaching. If I see someone, not that if Tiffany and you and I had been on a three-way chat and Tiff said something, I might side message her and say, girl, that's not, or like, great job. That was awesome that you said that. That was like the perfect thing.
Is that clear, Lavo? Can you hear me, Lavo?
Yeah.
Was that clear?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that
I wasn't there, so I didn't learn it. So I was kind of like, wait, what? But that makes more sense. I was following to the part until we got on the messenger chat, and I was like, so then what do people say? So I now understand that the sponsor is supposed to introduce the idea of the call.
And that's really the whole purpose of that three-way chat, is for the sponsor to say, hey, I heard you guys were talking about Radiant and Fields. That's great. And like Carrie said, there should only be like maybe 2, 3, 4 back and forth messages.
Yeah.
Then do a three-way call. We're not extending the Facebook message. This is just a way to hopefully get people on a three-way call more often than we do, because that's where people get stuck.
And my intention was not to confuse anyone. I'm sorry. But I'm like, I don't know when to share this. I don't know what me and Sarah had been talking about. Sarah got a funny text. So either way, your uplines will bring this down to you when it's time, because a bunch of us are going to be practicing this like now. So Brooke, that was like super concise. Thank you. That was like perfect.
Because we got like me and I was there and I learned it.
Oh, well.
I'm just kidding.
I am sorry. Good teacher. Okay, so we got like 10 minutes left. Anybody else have any like pressing questions or just about recruiting in general?
I think just for like my own peace of mind, I would just love to hear like from each of you guys who have kind of larger teams, like at what point, and I know your stories are different and we don't compare, but it's just nice to hear like, when did you like really start the recruiting process and like get people to say yes? I would just be interested to hear from each of you.
Sarah, I think you should go first. This is so good.
10 months for me to do something with my business, and then a year and 2 months, I think, to actually recruit someone. Everyone's journey is different though, so you really can't compare. Like for me, it was about my story, and that, I don't know if you've heard my story. Have you heard my story, Megan? Yeah. So part of it's that, and it took me a long time to get over. It took me a long time to figure out my why. And after that, it was a matter of mindset and belief, and that, this could be life-changing for me. And I'll tell you though, like the longer I come in my journey, the deeper my belief is, the more Kool-Aid I drink. I'm like guzzling it at this point, like I just firmly believe that this company and that this business is a lottery ticket for me. It's like the golden ticket, I'm Charlie and I found it. I feel so lucky.
You just inspired me. And I just spent a whole weekend with you. Why didn't you tell me that in the room? Just kidding. Lavo, can you tell yours?
Sure. So I started recruiting right away. And I welcomed my first 3 business partners in month 2. They were all family members. So, and I've been doing it since then, but honestly, like my pace is, on the slower side. Like I just have a lot of demands on me right now. And so, I'll just be totally transparent. Like I have not spent the last probably 5 months recruiting for myself. I've been spending it on my team. And that's the little time that I have to dedicate to this business. And so much of my passion for this business is about helping other people that I have a hard time helping myself. So it goes in waves.
I started fast, but my thing is that when I decide to work the business, it works. And when I decide not to work it, it doesn't. And sometimes I decide not to work it. I really like doing trainings. Sometimes I decide I don't like recruiting, and then I don't. So that's real life for me. That I started right away because I just told all my friends they needed to do it, and then they did. And then I got into maintenance mode, and I was like helping my team, and I love helping people, and I love I love this stuff. Like nobody on my team is here right now. I just like you guys. But it really is like when I decide that I want to recruit, I recruit. And when I don't, then I just don't.
Megan, I will say that I've noticed that it is really hard. And I've said this with girls on my team. It's very hard. It feels like, and it felt like for me, to recruit your first few people. And I'll bring it back to teaching. It's kind of like the first few years that you teach, you learn so much. And it's through your reach outs and through your interactions and your experiences with the people that you've initially reached out to that teach you to grow. And then you get better at it, And so like you might in a couple months look back at what you sent out as your first initial reach outs and be like, what was I thinking? Like Courtney's not on here anymore. But Courtney is on my team, and she was one of my I think she was my first reach out. And I sent her an email that was like paragraphs long about it. And so you grow and you learn, and once you've recruited a few, it gets easier to reach out because you have confidence in yourself and what you're doing. You're drinking the Kool-Aid because it's like, oh my God, it's working. And then that comes out in your reach outs. And then it becomes a little bit easier. But you just, it's like a learning process. You just have to get through those first few. And then you're like, okay, I got the hang of this. And it becomes more real and more a part of you.
Yeah. And it's so true. Cause like what you give off is exactly what you're going to receive. So at the beginning I was like, I actually didn't recruit anybody 3 to 4 months, but I didn't know I could. I didn't understand the business. Like I just was like I just need an extra paycheck to pay for my son to go to karate, right? I didn't care about anything else. And then I got my first paycheck, my second, my third, and Kristen's like, you need to start building a team. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. You know what I mean? So like the 4 of us just told you guys completely different stories. And like I said on our thing, our Marco Polo in my live, we were in Jamaica with a girl who's been doing this for 5 years and just hit level 5. And we were with a girl who has been doing it for 2 months and hit level 5. So you guys, it is spectrum to spectrum. You just have to keep going. And that's what the whole, like with the one thing in Jamaica too, like that everybody had in common was we all just kept going. It no matter if we failed, succeeded, keep going. Because you can succeed and then say, oh, I'm good. And then you stop and your business plummets. And you can start doing, you're just not doing well. You're not recruiting anyone. And so you're like, I'm quitting. I'm done. But that's not the mindset.
People who have real success are the ones who don't do that.
Yeah. And it can be frustrating. Recruiting is very difficult, especially nowadays with, Beachbody and all the other things that people are doing. But the thing about our business, and you have to believe in it, is the belief. We've been doing this now for years and years, and we continue to grow. And we're not stopping. The doctors are like, we're going to give you 1 to 2 products that are new every year. Boom.
I think that it really just comes down to, Megan, is having that long-term vision. Like, it's very easy to get caught in the month-to-month stuff, and hitting certain goals and making sure that you get there. But if you really believe that this business can change your life, and that's what you want it to be, you have to work as if, things are not going to happen overnight, and it's really just about that consistency. And I'm saying that, and I haven't even done it for the last 5 months. So, but that's the truth. Like, it is about, even if you recognize that you haven't done it, kind of pulling yourself back in and saying, okay, these are the things that I need to do because I have the long-term vision. So
I'm going to stop recording really quick, because hold on.